So I'm using Samsung T5 external SSD to record stuff on my camera, and I managed to lose 1.5 terabytes of footage. Yeah, in this video I will tell you why it happened, how it happened exactly, and how can you prevent this thing from happening in the future. So keep watching. Basically, my cheapest bought that Samsung T5 used without any cables, and as a replacement cable I got this Ugreen Type A to Type C USB 3.0 cable. It is supposed to have good speeds, about 300, maybe 350 megabytes per second. And yeah, I was copying something from my SSD to my laptop, speeds dropped, then continued to copying as it was before, and then speeds dropped again, and that SSD completely disappeared from the computer. And after I reconnected it asked me to format it, and let me tell you what exactly it was saying. The volume does not contain a recognized file system. Yeah. Anyway, I'm started to Google into what the hell is going on. I mean, there is 1.5 terabytes of footage, and people in the internet was saying to run some basic shit like sfc/scan now and check disk. Anyway, I will put it on the screen somewhere. One of them didn't help completely, another one helped as I thought, yeah, but actually no. The system recognized that drive, but from 1.5 terabytes of stuff, one folder left, and other stuff just was gone completely. Yeah. After that, I spent about 4 days trying to recover at least something with programs with a different degree of shadiness. Well, I managed to recover about 400 gigs from 1.5 terabytes, yeah, but at least it's something. So I just told you how it happened, and now I will try to answer the question why it happened. Well, the main perpetrator, let's just say it straight, the file system itself, that exFAT file system. It does not support journaling. If you want some technical data, what exactly that journaling file system mean, you better Google it. But in short, as I understand it, those journaling file systems keep tracking of what's going on with the drive, what exactly it is copying, which files, how much of stuff, where, how, when, etc. Those journaling file system journal what's going on with the drive at the moment. And if something happens, if you disconnect the drive without that safe disconnect button, or power goes off, SSD lose power by some reason, I don't know, maybe because of poor connection or something, those changes journaled, and after you connect SSD back, it's going to be fine. But that exFAT file system, it just does not support the journaling, not ejected properly, and there is a chance that all your data will disappear only because that exFAT file system does not support journaling. In my case, what happened, as I said, I bought SSD used, and that cable was not original one, and it seems to be that cable is pretty poorly made, so connection was not proper. SSD lost power and all my files were gone. After reading about those file systems, I kinda made a decision that I do not want something like this to happen again, and there is basically an option how to prevent something like this from happening. If you are on macOS, well, that's all. Format your drive into macOS journaled and use it with your Mac like it's supposed to be, without worrying that something may go wrong, but still, you better use original cables, yeah, and try to eject your storage properly anyway. I mean, there's still a chance that something goes wrong, but that journaling file systems usually are a lot safer. But in Windows, it's kinda tricky one. You cannot format SSD into NTFS, which does support journaling. In the camera you have two options: macOS journaled, as we figure out for macOS it's the best and the only option, and exFAT. Yeah, only two options, and exFAT does not support journaling. Yeah, there is an option to format the drive into macOS journaled system and still work with Windows. But there's a caveat. There's several options to make those macOS formatted drive to work with Windows, and almost all of them are very, very dangerous, basically destroying your entire computer. Yeah, let's say so. There is an option to install drivers from BootCamp to make Windows to see those macOS journaled formatted drives properly and to work with them, read and write. But when I tried to install it, yeah, I ended up editing registry and removing those two files from my laptop from the recovery because Windows would not boot properly. And after that, yeah, of course, after that, I read comments and people basically were just formatting their drives completely because they would not boot. Yeah, basically those drivers are compatible with some version of Windows probably, but with most they're not, and they're messing up with system completely, and you need to remove it from recovery. I am sure that most of the people would not be able to remove those files from the recovery via command prompt and undo manually those changes in registry. So do not install those stupid macOS BootCamp drivers to read HFS macOS journaled volumes. Another option was to install some dedicated programs to write and read stuff from macOS journal formatted drives. But in this case, I managed to read comments before using those programs, and the story is the same. As I understand that, those programs just installing those exact drivers, we will install it manually. Those two files, they're probably going to the system, and undoing those changes via those programs going to be a lot more tricky than removing only two files. So do not install any drivers, do not use any of those programs. Yeah, but still there's one single option to use journaled file systems on your SM75 SSD or other drive you're using with your camera on Windows. It is a program called HFS Explorer. There is a caveat though. It works read-only mode. You can read stuff from your SSD, but you cannot write anything. Yeah, that program worked fine for me yet. I format my SSD into macOS journaled, record stuff, upload it to my laptop, then I take that SSD back to the camera and format it back into macOS journaled again. In this case, I'm using journaling file system, and if SSD loses its power, my data should still be intact. So, how do you use that program? You connect your drive, Apple OS X Extended or macOS Journal formatted drive, click Load File System from Device, Auto Detect, and here they are. You click on your files, click Extract, choose Location, and click OK. It's not installing any drivers, so I hope it will not mess with anything at all. For Windows, as I think it is the best option right now to keep your files as safe as possible. There's a lesser chance that something will go wrong with my files again. That inconvenience, let's say so, that I am unable to write anything on it, sacrifice I'm willing to make for a little peace of mind. If you're using macOS, as I said, it's not really a problem for you. It's more a problem for Windows users who are by some reason cannot or do not want to use macOS. So do not use shitty cables, do not install any shitty drivers, use common sense, use journaling file systems if you're not willing to throw away hours and maybe even weeks or months of your work, and use macOS if possible. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching.